Right friends, welcome back to 25th week lecture. This is from 15th to 21st of June. As usual, you have three modules. One is the lecture module, the second one is the news analysis and features, and the third one is question and answers. During the 24th week, you experienced the change in the current affairs modules, and we are going to continue the same thing this week also, right? So, what are the highlights? First and the foremost is International Day of Yoga, several Guinness World Records. Second important point is the BBIN Summit at Thimphu. What is the meaning of BBIN? We are going to discuss. Retired personnel of defense forces are agitating for one rank, one pension scheme. What is one rank, one pension? Government stated that 2 crore houses are going to be built during the next 7 years. 48,000 rural BPOs. Then rupees 200 bonus announced for pulses, because we are importing pulses. The production is not increasing. When it comes to across the states, one of the worst liquor tragedies occurred in Mumbai. More than 100 people lost their lives. When you look at the events of the world, heightening tensions between Russia as well as the West. Russia is going to deploy 40 intercontinental ballistic missiles. Then China tested supersonic glide vehicle or hypersonic glide vehicle, which travels at a speed of around 12,000 kilometers per hour. Hong Kong lawmakers turns down the proposal of China. Then in the United States of America, guns and racism, they are continuing unabated. 9 persons were gunned down in one of the oldest churches in the United States of America. Look into the events of economy. Sahara case, Supreme Court sticks to 10,000 crore rupees for getting bail to Sahara chief Subrata Rai. Import duty on steel products increased. We are going to discuss what is the significance of increasing import duty. Pre-2005 notes are to be removed by this month end. However, the Reserve Bank of India extended the deadline once again up to 31st December. Draft guidelines were issued on sovereign gold bonds. And the last one is Indian deposits in Swiss banks fell by around 10.6%. So these are the events of the week, and please look into the first and the foremost event. International Day of Yoga was celebrated across the world. The International Day of Yoga falls on June 21st. This is the first year. Please don't forget, June 21st is also the day of summer solstice. Summer solstice is on June 21. On this date, it is the longest day in Northern Hemisphere. Please don't forget this. 21st Jun was selected as International Day of Yoga last year during September 2014. While addressing the 69th United Nations General Assembly, Prime Minister of the country, Narendra Modi, raised this issue. Subsequently, in December 2014, United Nations with 175 countries as the co-sponsors. Please don't forget, 175 countries as the co-sponsors, and with the support of 177 nations overall, International Day of Yoga was decided to be on June 21. Please don't forget, it has 175 co-sponsors. And almost during the first International Day of Yoga, festive spirit was there in the country. Government claimed that International Day of Yoga was celebrated in 192 countries except Pakistan. 2 Guinness World Records that day. In single yoga class, 35,985 people attended as per the government statistics. 35,985 people attended single yoga class. Second Guinness World Record is there were nationals from 84 countries. There were nationals from 84 countries, and on this occasion the Prime Minister stated that it is the beginning of an era to peace and harmony. Right? Across the world it is celebrated. If you look into the other events, it was also held with the Eiffel Tower as the backdrop, Angkor Wat Temple in Cambodia, Bhutan Premier, the Secretary General of United Nations, Ban Ki-moon also participated in the celebrations at United Nations. Sushma Swaraj participated. A 2-day yoga conference was held at Chengdu in China, and yoga classes were also conducted at around 19,000 feet on Siachen Glacier by the Indian Armed Forces. So, this is all about Yoga Day celebrations, and let us move on to the next issue of the week, BBIN Summit at Thimphu. What is BBIN? Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal. BBIN means Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal. 4 countries signed motor vehicle agreement. These 4 are part of the total 8 countries of SAARC. Agreement was signed by 4 countries with regard to the motor vehicle agreement. After the modalities are drafted and once it is implemented, then you can have seamless travel across these 4 countries. By car, you can go to any place in these 4 countries. Freight can move without barriers. The 4 countries are Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal. This group is called BBIN. So, BBIN motor vehicle agreement was signed this week, and it will be precursor to further agreements, especially in railways, waterways, energy grids and communications. Right? And if you look at it from this perspective, the BBIN agreement assumes vital significance. Right? Let us hope it to be implemented in the shortest time as possible so that you can have seamless travel across these 4 countries. Right, friends? Look into the next issue, one rank, one pension. What is meant by one rank, one pension? We often hear about OROP. OROP is one rank, one pension. I would like to tell you brief history. In the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections in the year 2014, Bharatiya Janata Party promised that they will implement one rank, one pension. What is one rank, one pension? That means the persons whoever retired, if they are in the same rank, if they put in equal years of service, if they are of same rank, if they have put in equal years of service, they should get equal pension. Some Subedar might have retired after putting 20 years of service in 1975. Another Subedar retired in 1995 after putting 20 years of service. One Subedar retired in 1975 after putting 20 years of service. Another Subedar retired in 1995 after putting 20 years of service. They have put in same years of service. They are in the same rank. That's why, irrespective of the year of retirement, they should get same pension, that is OROP. BJP promised before coming to power. And what are the hurdles? If you look into the hurdles, then it is a financial burden on the central government. Around 25 lakh pensioners are there, including 6 lakh war widows. 25 lakh pensioners, including 6 lakh war widows. If this is implemented, huge financial burden will be there on the government. The second important point is paramilitary forces are there. Paramilitary forces may also ask for same privilege. That is another problem. And the third problem is there is not much coordination among various departments to implement it. It has to be coordinated with the several departments, Ministry of Personnel, Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Finance. It is possible only with the coordination of these departments. So these are the hurdles, and now the retired personnel of armed forces are on the war path against the government. Now I think government is thinking about implementing this OROP. Right friends, after learning this, let us look at the next issue. 20 million houses for urban poor over the next 7 years. This was the cabinet decision taken last week, and this week Prime Minister of the country inaugurated this, and about this we are going to discuss in detail next week. And this 20 million houses, that means 2 crore houses, are proposed to be constructed during the next 7 years, that means by the year 2022 in urban areas. Government wants to ensure housing for all by the year 2022 when India completes the 75th year of independence. And as per the present calculation, 20 million houses are required in urban areas, and government had to talk about rural areas, and constructing 20 million houses is Herculean task, and these will be constructed in identified 4041 towns and cities. For slum rehabilitation program, government will give 1 lakh central grant. And another important feature is for low income group as well as economically weaker sections. Low income group as well as economically weaker sections, there will be interest subsidy of 6.5% for the loans of tenure up to 15 years. For the house loans of tenure up to 15 years taken by low income group as well as economically weaker sections, there will be interest subvention of 6.5%. And regarding this issue, what is meant by LIG, what is meant by economically weaker sections, we are going to discuss in detail during the next week news analysis, because the Prime Minister inaugurated this during this week, right? And if this is implemented, it's going to be the biggest achievement for the present government. Right friends, let us move on to the next one. 48,000 seats for rural PPOs. They want to create employment opportunities in rural areas. Government wants to create 48,000 seats in rural PPOs. In rural areas, they want to develop 48,000 seats, and government is going to give subsidy of rupees 1 lakh per seat. Rupees 1 lakh per seat government is giving subsidy, and good company with the local entrepreneur will be chosen for establishing BPO, and these 48,000 BPOs will be distributed among the states, and the maximum share will go to Uttar Pradesh with 8,000 seats because of its population. And people are expected to work 3 shifts for these 48,000 seats. It will create employment opportunities for 1,44,000 people. 3 shifts into 48,000, which makes 1,44,000 jobs will be created if this is implemented. Right? Let us look into the next issue. Bonus of rupees 200 per quintal for pulses. Minimum support price is increased every year as usual. Government increases minimum support price. Minimum support price is recommended by Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, or CACP. Government takes the final decision. For this Kharif season, minimum support price for paddy is increased by rupees 50 a quintal. Per quintal, minimum support price is increased by rupees 50, but 200 rupees bonus is announced in addition to the minimum support price increase for pulses. Tur dal, moong dal and urad dal. These are dals Because in our country, the production of pulses is somewhere around 17 to 18 million tons. Though we are self-sufficient in food grains, but when it comes to pulses, shortfall is there. Our production is 17 to 18 million tons, but our requirement is around 22 million tons. We are importing around 3 to 4 million tons every year. To give impetus to the production of pulses, government announced rupees 200 bonus. You may ask about these pulses. Please look into the picture. This is tur dal, moong dal, urad dal, and if you want to look at this is jawar, basra, maize and ragi. Right? Having learned this, let us look at other issue when it comes to states. Maharashtra's worst tragedy of spurious liquor claimed more than 100 lives. More than 100 people lost their lives in a liquor tragedy in Lakshmi Nagar slum in the western suburbs of Mumbai. These type of unfortunate incidents are taking place unabated. I would like to tell you 2 points in this regard. The first and the foremost is why people lose their lives. Actual alcohol is supposed to be ethanol. Ethanol is ethyl alcohol. Ethanol is ethyl alcohol. But cheap liquor they manufacture with methyl alcohol or methanol. Ethanol is ethyl alcohol. It is not dangerous. Methanol is methyl alcohol. It is dangerous. It is toxic. If the quantum of methyl alcohol is increased or methanol is increased, people lose their lives. Why people use methanol? People use methanol because methanol is cheaper in comparison to ethanol. In the branded products, there will be ethanol. But in the products for cheap liquor, normally people consume in slum areas, that is manufactured with methanol. Methanol is methyl alcohol. It is toxic and sometimes people lose their lives. That is first point. Second point is laws are stringent. As per the Section 65 of Bombay Prohibition Act, it is a non-bailable offence and at the same time punishment ranges from 6 months to 3 years. In spite of the stringent rules and regulations, these things are happening. The right way to prevent it is proper enforcement of rules and regulations, and methanol based liquor should not be allowed at any place under any circumstances. That is the only way to prevent such incidences which are occurring quite often. Right, let us move into the next one. If you look into the world events, Russia will deploy 40 more ICBMs. ICBMs are intercontinental ballistic missiles, whose range is more than 5,500 kilometers. They are intercontinental ballistic missiles. About ICBMs, we are going to learn some more details in the news analysis part of this week. And the point here is there are heightening tensions between Russia and Western countries. Recently G7 summit was held at Bavarian Alps in Germany, and there G7 countries decided to continue sanctions against Russia, to continue economic sanctions against Russia, because West strongly feels that Russia is interfering to the affairs of Ukraine. But Russia denies these allegations. And now Russia wants to deploy another 40 intercontinental ballistic missiles. At the same time, NATO and United States of America wants to send troops to the Baltic countries. You may ask, what are Baltic countries? These are the countries close to Russia. The Baltic countries are Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. West wants to move troops and forces to these Baltic countries. With this, it appears that heightening tensions are inevitable in the near future between NATO and USA as well as Russia. Right? So, battle lines are clearly drawn between these two groups. Next one, China tests hypersonic glide vehicle. You may ask, what is hypersonic glide vehicle? Sometimes it is called supersonic glide vehicle. Hypersonic glide vehicle or HGV, it is, other name for it is WU-14. It travels at a speed of around 12,000 kilometers per hour. It travels at a speed of 12,000 kilometers per hour. Recent times, for the past 1.5 years, China tested 4 times and 3 times it was successful. That means with this hypersonic glide vehicle, it can reach any target in the world within 2 to 3 hours. It can hit any target anywhere in the world within 2 to 3 hours, and the speed here is 12,000 kilometers per hour, which is 10 times the speed of sound. Right? So, China tested this hypersonic glide vehicle and America expressed its concern of these developments. Right, friends? Look into the next issue. Hong Kong lawmakers votes down the proposal by Beijing. Hong Kong, you may ask, what is Hong Kong? Hong Kong is a special administrative region of People's Republic of China. It is a special administrative region. 2 special administrative regions are there for China. One is this Hong Kong, second one is Macau. These 2 are close to each other, 64 kilometers, Hong Kong and Macau. Hong Kong was handed over by British in 1997. Macau was handed over in the year 1999 by Portugal. They were under European rule prior to 1990s. And at the time of handing over of Hong Kong to China, it was decided that the country will be governed on the principle of one country, 2 systems. All of you are well aware, China is ruled by one single party. And up to 1997, Hong Kong was with British. And the freedom and liberties in Europe are entirely different in comparison to China. So that's why it was handed over with the condition that this will be ruled under one country, 2 systems principle, and elections are going to be held in the year 2017. But the crux of the problem here is China says that the candidates who will be contested for chief executive in the year 2017 will be pre-vetted by China. China says the candidates who are going to be contested in the 2017 elections will be pre-vetted by China, but Hong Kong is not agreeing to the proposal and the stalemate is continuing between Hong Kong, which is a special administrative region, and Chinese government. Right? Let us hope some breakthrough in this case. Right? Look into the next issue, racism and guns. Can USA come out of it? In the world, maximum guns by the civilians are held by United States of America people. We are going to discuss in detail next week in the analysis part. And last week what happened? One 21-year-old Dylan Roof entered one of the oldest churches in United States of America and killed 9 black people when the Bible class was going on, and among the dead, one senator was also there. It was a hate crime against the black people, and United States of America is notorious for guns as well as racism. Even Barack Obama expressed his concern about these developments. Crimes against black people are continuing unabated, and guns are also held by even teenagers. Several shootouts in schools is the common feature in United States of America. Right, friends? Let us hope USA to come out of this guns as well as racism. Right, friends? Look into the economy events. Sahara case, Apex Court sticks to rupees 10,000 crore for getting bail. Subrata Roy, the chief of Sahara, is in jail for the past 16 months. The court felt that 24,000 crores of rupees along with interest is to be refunded to the depositors, and Supreme Court again stuck to its decision and asked it to submit bank guarantee as well as deposit cash totaling rupees 10,000 crore, and once these conditions are fulfilled, he will be granted bail, and subsequently the depositor's money is to be refunded within 18 months time by depositing rupees 3,000 crore every 2 months. Stringent conditions were put forth by Supreme Court of India, probably for the first time in the history of the country, asking rupees 10,000 crore for bail and putting stringent conditions for refunding back to the depositors within the time of 18 months. Total amount involved here is rupees 36,000 crores, including interest. Right friends, look into the next issue. Import duty on some steel items hiked. I included this question not to remember how much import duty is increased, what it signifies. That is the main point here. Import duty was hiked on some steel items. What does it indicate? I would like to tell you a brief about steel. Total production in the world is around 1600 million tons. China itself produces 800 million tons. Out of 1600 million tons, I am telling rough figures, out of 1600 million tons of finished steel, China itself produces 800 million tons, and our production is around 90 million tons, that is finished steel. And last year we imported around 9.3 million tons of finished steel, out of which 4 million tons came from China. Under these circumstances, as China is a surplus with steel production, because their economy is slowing, they have already installed capacity of around 800 million tons. They want to dump their products on India. Ultimately what will happen? That will affect the domestic industry. So, to protect the domestic industry, recently Government of India hiked the import duty on steel products. When the import duty is hiked, the products which are imported from other countries will become costlier, so that our domestic industry can be protected. Right? And recently, government also imposed anti-dumping duty on some stainless steel products. Anti-dumping duty. What is anti-dumping duty? When some foreign company is selling their products in our market at below market prices so as to eliminate the domestic competition altogether, then government imposes anti-dumping duty. So please don't forget under what circumstances import duty is increased and under what circumstances anti-dumping duty is increased. Anti-dumping duty is imposed when government feels that the foreign company is selling their products at below market prices. Second thing is, to protect the domestic industry, sometimes government raises the import duty. So these things please don't forget. Please look into the next issue. Pre-2005 notes are to be removed from circulation by June 30. Pre-2005 notes, they have less security features. That is one reason. The second reason is year of printing was not published on those notes. All the notes after 2005 have the year of printing on the notes. On the reverse side of the note, year of printing was printed. Government gave several deadlines. Ultimately, they gave deadline up to June 30, and now further they extended the deadline. As on the day of recording this lecture, the deadline was extended up to 31st December, right? And the new notes after 2005 have got more security features. I have enlisted these things in this PPT. Look into the other issue, draft guidelines for sovereign gold bonds issued. Last lectures we discussed about gold monetization scheme. This is the sovereign gold bond. These two were announced by the finance minister in the union budget for 2015-16. If anyone has got intention to buy gold, instead of physical gold, they will purchase gold bond. Instead of physical gold, they will purchase gold bond. If you want to purchase gold in the form of coins or bars, instead of getting physical gold, you will be given a gold bond. And as per the terms and conditions, after the agreed period, you can redeem that gold bond and you will get the amount as per the prevailing rate after some time. That is the main purpose of sovereign gold bonds. Gold monetization scheme as well as the sovereign gold bonds, these two schemes are primarily to curb the gold imports. These two schemes are primarily to curb the gold imports. Every year we are consuming around 900 tons of gold. Every year we are consuming 900 tons of gold, and most of this gold is imported because our production is almost insignificant. Out of 900 tons, if you look into this chart, during last year around 180 tons of gold was purchased in the form of bars and coins. For investment, last year around 181 tons of gold was purchased in the form of bars and coins. Instead of physical gold, when you want to purchase gold, you will be given gold bond. So that is the main purpose of sovereign gold bond scheme. These are the draft guidelines, and government is yet to notify the final guidelines. Last issue of the week, Indian deposits in Swiss banks fell by 10%. This is the second lowest ever deposits held by Indians. Indian deposits in Swiss banks fell by 10.6%. They fell from around 14,000 crores to 12,537 crores. There is a reduction of around 10.6%. But overall, all over the world, deposits in Swiss banks increased by 11%. But for India, they reduced. Now the bank secrecy laws have gone because of the intense pressure from Financial Action Task Force. Swiss banks are also revealing the details of the account holders. Under these circumstances, the deposits in Swiss banks are coming down because previously Indians held deposits in Swiss banks because the secrecy laws were there. Now because of FATF pressure and to prevent money laundering and financing of terrorism, FATF is tackling these issues with the iron hand, and now Swiss banks are opening out with the details of the depositors, and because of which the deposits of Indians in Swiss banks are coming down. Right, friends? With this, let us conclude this week's lecture part. Please do join for news analysis and features as well as question and answer. Have a nice day. Thank you.